how I shiver inside. Doesn't show, but my nerves are inside out. It's because you're not worth less than perfection. Ooh, thought it was in my hands, now I'm all confused, turning gold into sand. Don't know what you do to me. All I know is you can take my breath away.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Family Fudge. If this is your first time here, my name is Jennifer, and I'm super excited to be sharing 2 pantry makeovers with you today. Not only am I refilling and restocking, but I'm also changing out some shelves, reorganizing, and I'm taking you with me through the entire huge transformation. Last year around this time, I shared 2 separate pantry videos on this channel. In the first video, I gave my kitchen pantry a Pinterest-inspired makeover. And in the second video, I shared my secret prepper pantry. Now, I call it my prepper pantry because this is where I keep our 3 to 6 month emergency food storage, and it's also where I keep everything that won't fit in my kitchen pantry. Now you guys, if you want to learn more about how I keep my emergency food storage, you can check out that video. I will link it down below. Okay guys, so here's how the kitchen pantry looked right after my Pinterest inspired makeover. And here's what it looks like after 1 year. It is completely out of control right now. The top has a lot of clutter I need to tidy. In this section, I want to change up the glass jars. They are just way too heavy for the shelf. In this section, I really want to add some larger bins. That way I can fit bigger items in this area. Some of these containers are too small and they don't fit what I want to put here. Because these baskets are so deep, things get buried and lost in here all the time. Now, as far as the prepper pantry goes, here's how it looked right after the last makeover. And here's how it's looking now. Basically, after a whole year, I've learned that I don't love having all of the items loose on the shelves. They get out of order really quickly, it's hard to rotate the items, and it's really hard to keep track of how many items I actually have because these shelves are so deep. Things get lost all the time. So now for step number 1, of course, I'm going to be taking everything out, starting with my kitchen pantry first. Now you guys, very quickly I have realized that this is a much bigger project than I was anticipating, so thankfully I have some helpers helping me empty the prepper pantry. I did go ahead and set up an extra table, that way we would have plenty of space to just lay everything out. Now you guys, one of the reasons this process is taking a little bit longer is because I am taking the time to check all the dates on these products just to make sure that none of them are expired. While I'm doing this, I'm also filling up several different crates. I realized as we were going through this process that we had way more than we actually needed, so I'm filling up these crates to take to my local church's food bank. So now that I have everything taken out of both pantries, it's time to go ahead and wash and dry all of the containers. It is kind of gross and surprising how many crumbs and sticky things are left in these bins, so I need to give them a good wash. For this project, I'm mostly using containers that I've already owned for a while, but I did pick up a few new things from Amazon, from the Container Store, and from the Target Dollar Spot. Step 3 is what I like to call the planning phase. And for this, I still like to get out a good old pencil and a piece of paper, and I do my best to kind of sketch out what I'm planning. Since I do want to change out these shelves, I kind of need to know what's going to go on each shelf and how tall each shelf needs to be. Next, it was time to go ahead and remove all of the wire shelves from the kitchen pantry. Out with the old to make room for the new. Now, I am super excited for this step, but also a little bit nervous because I'm hoping the white shelves turn out well and that I've measured everything correctly. Okay guys, now we've made it to the next step, but it's actually the next day. Last night we finished painting the pantry in the kitchen, and we also painted the prepper pantry, but now that that is done and the paint is dry, we can move on. And you guys, this is where my husband is going to be taking over. I asked him to install 5 of these new shelves, and because he's using a white laminate wood instead of real wood, all of these materials came to just around $150, including the piece of white beadboard that we put at the back of the pantry just to make it look a little bit more built in. Okay guys, now all of the shelves are in and all of the paint is dry. Now it's time to finally get everything back into the pantries. Before I can do that, I need to decide what baskets and containers I want to use. And once I have that figured out, it will finally be time to restock and refill. On the top shelf of the kitchen pantry, I'm really just restocking the baking items and the pasta. On the next shelf, I'm adding some of our favorite quick lunch options. And then next to that, I'm also stacking up my favorite sparkling water. Now, I usually have at least one of these every single day, and I do keep some in the fridge so they're nice and cold, but whatever doesn't fit in the fridge, I'm going to keep here. Now on this next shelf, and of course this is going to start with some cereal. Now for this, I did something a little crazy. I let each person in the family pick out their own favorite cereal. My daughter Lily picked out Fruity Pebbles. My son Griffin picked out Cinnamon Life. That's definitely his favorite. My oldest Mackenzie picked out Lucky Charms. Jackson picked out honeycomb. For my choice, I went with Crispix. And for my husband's choice, he went with granola. And then you guys, I'm left with just enough space to go ahead and add a container of goldfish and a container of veggie straws. Now, because I have some extra space above these containers, I'm going to go ahead and add this hanging basket. This fits directly on the shelf, and I think this is the perfect place to keep our Ritz crackers. That way, when we want to make some DIY Lunchables, the crackers are ready to go. Now moving on to the next shelf. In this area, I decided to pick up 2 new containers from Amazon. These are perfect for granola bars, fig bars, muffin bars, and trail mixes. Next, I'm adding 2 of these spinning containers. I actually got these at Aldi a while ago, but in one of them I'm going to put our spreads like peanut butter. And in the other one I'm going to add all of our jams and jellies. This next shelf is all about lunchbox items and breakfast shakes. And then on the very bottom, I'm adding some of our heavier items. So things like almond milk, oat milk, some shelf-stable milk. I'm adding those here. And I'm also adding 1 extra basket for leftovers and extras. Now you guys, I absolutely love how this turned out, especially the new white shelves. I really hope that those hold up well. Right now, everything has its own designated spot, which should help things stay organized. I also love the idea that the kids can come and help themselves to cereal in the morning. They can grab their own snacks. They can also grab things to put in their lunches. Now I hope this doesn't backfire, but we shall see. And I did decide to add just a few labels. I got these ones on Amazon and I added them just to the baking items. We had an incident a few months ago where Mackenzie was trying to make a recipe and accidentally used pancake mix instead of flour because they weren't labeled and she couldn't tell the difference. So yeah, hopefully that won't be happening anymore because they all have labels. Now moving on to the prepper pantry. I ended up working on this pantry mostly after the kids went to bed, so I didn't film every single step. For this pantry, I did decide to add several new storage items. First, I got a couple of shelves from Amazon. These are perfect for canned goods. And I also got quite a few new bins from the Target dollar spot. Now, I hope you guys are ready for a huge transformation, because here is how the prepper pantry looked before, and here's how it looks now. First off, I absolutely love how much brighter it feels in here with all of the white paint and the white containers. In this area, we also added a rug on the floor, and I also added a little magnetic whiteboard. That way I can easily write things down as we run out of them. I love that I can easily pull out a bin in order to rotate the items, and that I can easily see when I'm running low on an item too. The top section of this pantry is dedicated to paper products. Next is the baking section. Below that is the canned food section, and I'd say these are the canned food items that we use most often, and I keep all of the other canned foods on larger shelves in the garage. On the next row, I have all of the pasta, the mac and cheese, and my favorite ramen. Then below that, I have some condiments, oil, spices, and sauces. And then of course on the bottom level, I have all of the emergency water. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.